I think that a lot of times we put off our dreams, and now's a good time to put them on instead of putting them off.
Welcome to Midlife Dialogues, where I talk to people 50 and over who are doing interesting and inspiring things with their lives. And today I am talking with Lisa Louise Adams. Welcome, Lisa Louise. I'll start by saying that Lisa Louise is an artist. She's an incredible and versatile and prolific artist who paints, she makes prints, she's a potter, she makes her own paper and books, she writes poetry, and she's also an absolutely amazing quilter. She has artwork in many permanent collections in museums and such, and even in the White House Christmas ornament collection. Before we delve into what else you do, let's talk about your own art. Are there themes that you return to in all the diverse kinds of arts you do, or what would we notice about it? How would you describe your art?
I am really interested in color, and I gain a lot of inspiration from nature. Sometimes I'll come up with an idea, then I'll know which medium to do it in. And sometimes I'll do it in multiple mediums. For example, I was inspired by visiting your beautiful garden with all the Hawaiian plants, and I drew kalo, uala, and ulu. Then I turned those into woodblock prints, and then also huge Hawaiian quilts. So sometimes it crosses over like that in an easy way.
Tell us about where you live, and does that influence your art and how?
Yes, I live in the beautiful rainforest of Volcano, Hawaii, on the Big Island. My younger sister had lived in Hawaii in Kona and was always sending me photos and postcards, and I was going to art school in California. And I was just like, why would I go to Hawaii? My idea of Hawaii was so different when I finally got here. I completely fell in love with Hawaii, the nature of it. Where I live, it's so quiet. I hear the birds, I hear the wind in the leaves. It's just beautiful. So where I live is magic. It's about 7 minutes from Kilauea Caldera, where we have a very active volcano very close by. And I think that energy of new growth and new life is part of what inspires me so much. I always am trying to learn new things and interested in this and that and the other thing. And I think living in the volcano, it's like, yes, there's new all the time.
Oh, that's a wonderful answer. For people who are not from Hawaii, just tell us briefly, what's it like living so close to an active volcano? I think that freaks people out.
I know people are like, what? Because I'm not downhill from where the lava will flow, gravity really is my friend. So to me, it's not scary in that way. I know it seems like it's scary living so close to a volcano. There will be bad air because of the volcano, but typically I live in the perfect place. I'm uphill from where the lava is going to flow, and usually the trade winds blow all that bad air somewhere else. So for living so close, I really don't have too many of those bad experiences. And the cool thing is living so close, I get to just go to the park, and it is a beautiful park to hike into, all through the rainforest and down into like Kilauea Iki crater is just like being on the moon, I would imagine, because it's just lava everywhere. And then you're back up into the fern trees and the ohias, and it's really a nice place to live.
Now, I know you also spread your love for art and creativity in schools and elsewhere. So tell us what you're doing in that regard these days.
I'd say for 35 years, I've taught over 20,000 people. I write grants through our Hawaii State Foundation on Culture and the Arts and work with a teacher in a school. And then I go and I do an artist in the school residency. So I'm creating the curriculum and working with the teachers in their classrooms to bring art to kids. It's just, I think, the best job because a lot of students don't have money for extracurricular things. And this way I'm just right in the school, and the school gets me for free. And I get paid through grants with our State Foundation on Culture and the Arts.
Well, that sounds perfect. Now, is this elementary age kids or?
I teach from preschool through high school and special kids as well. I like all of that.
Give me an idea of what a project might be.
As an example, I go over to the Waikoloa School. At their school, they have this beautiful labyrinth that was made by an artist for their school. And the tops of all the little parts are these 7-inch circles in cement. And they started to make mosaics, but the project never got finished. And there's about 200 of them. So over the years, we've been creating mosaics to put into their school sculpture. So we start by having them go and look at the sculpture. And some of the kids are like, oh, I didn't know it was a sculpture. And then we draw the different things from dryland forest plants, which are the plants that grow in that area in Waikoloa on the other side of the island. And then they come up with their own designs, and then they make a paper mosaic using little pieces of colored paper. And they work as teams to create the glass tile mosaic. So that's one example.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's exciting.
So they're learning how to observe, how to draw, how to design, how to work in teams. So there's a lot of growth that the arts can bring. People think, oh, how fun art is. And it is really fun. And it's an easy way to learn so many important skills for life.
And then do you return to that school? And is this a continuous thing that you're
Yes,
helping?
I just got my grants for the next 2 years. So I'll be going there for 2 more years. And hopefully, we'll get them all filled in, and it makes the labyrinth even better, because as you're walking the labyrinth, then you're looking down and seeing all these beautiful plant mosaics.
Oh, isn't that great? How many times will you go in a year to that school?
8 times. And then I'll go and install all the mosaics. I also teach a lot of adults how to do art. So I have a clay studio. So mostly I do pottery classes at my home studio. And then I also have taught at the Volcano Art Center many, many years, and at the Kamana Senior Center many, many years. I love to teach, and I just love to help people connect to and then grow their creativity. And I really honestly believe that we are all creative, and that sometimes as adults, we believed what someone told us, that we aren't creative. And so part of my job is to inspire people and encourage people to have fun and just enjoy it, right? So there can be a whole process that I can walk you through, as far as committing that you're willing to play and that you want to discover and experiment, right? You can practice different things and then not take yourself too seriously. We're not going to start out making masterpieces. It's more to just connect with who you are. As you're developing this practice, you're also developing your style. You're kind of figuring out what you like to do, what you don't like to do. There's so many ways to be an artist or to express yourself. You don't even have to paint or draw to express yourself. It's like, what do you wear? How do you decorate your home? How do you set up your garden? With COVID, I was teaching my grants online and talking to students either on Zoom or Google Meets, or making videos and sending those for the teachers to play for the students. And I just really got a bee in my bonnet about how important creativity is, and how wouldn't it be great, now that I'm learning how to use Zoom and all this stuff, if I can spread the word? So I've been giving these free classes. It's called Connect to Creativity, and it's a 1-hour class, and we make like a little booklet. I show you how to take a piece of Xerox paper and just turn it into a book. So that's the first thing we do, is we make something. And then I walk you through some questions, and you start to recognize, oh, this is the project I've been thinking of doing, but I don't know how to start it. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm hoping that enough people take the free class that they're then interested in joining a group of people who are all working toward their project, and that will meet together. And I'm calling it the Creative Project Circle, that you can join so that we can all encourage and be accountable to each other to get our projects made and out into the world.
What kind of projects are those? What's an example?
One person wants to research and travel and write a book. One person wanted, coincidentally, to make a labyrinth in her garden. So many projects that people are coming up with. And one person even was like, oh, I realized my creative project is I want to teach healing. It's kind of like a broad umbrella how creativity doesn't need to be specifically visual art. I know that I can help people because as an artist, I'm always inventing and discovering and learning new things. and trying new things. And so I have a lot of things to point people to help them to manifest their desire.
I'll put a link in the description box if people are interested.
If they join my email list, then they'll get updates on the dates of these free events and things they can join.
Who takes those courses? What kind of people?
Mostly it's women, and it's mostly women who are kind of 60-ish, 70-ish, 80-ish. Right? I think there's probably been some 50-year-olds, people who are finally have some time and they're interested in connecting with their creativity and they're a little curious. So, like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, oh, you'll find out.
But it's open to any age and any gender and all that. Yeah. Okay. And what kind of response do they have? What do you hear from these people afterwards?
They are so grateful. They just can't believe that in 1 hour they connected with that part of themselves that they'd kind of pushed aside. Because I feel like a lot of people don't give themselves permission to dream their dream. And so I want to help them. Being an artist is kind of like, oh, you're so lucky. And it's like, yeah, I've made compromises in my life so I can be this artist. And probably you've made compromises in your life so that you didn't do your exact dream that you had as you were becoming an adult. But now you can go back and reconsider and reconnect. And it's better because now you have all that life experience to bring to your project. And teaching workshops on the mainland as well at fancy, like the International Quilt Festival. 65,000 happy women come to this convention for the week. And I've gotten to be an instructor there as well.
What's the best thing about this artist's life that you've created for yourself?
The best part is I make my own schedule. And so, for example, when my friend invited me to Italy in September, I could say yes without even any hesitation. I had the time to do it. That's a really good bonus because I'm my own boss. You know, I'm setting my own schedule. I'm setting my own projects. I do wake up in the morning excited to start the day. I feel like my time is mine, not someone else's. I was invited to go to Bhutan with this meditation teacher who I really like and a group of people who meditate, and we would go and we would visit these monasteries and we would hike the Himalayas. And I was like, that I can't afford. It is expensive. And I thought, well, there's no way I could do it. So I said no. And then someone couldn't go on the trip. So there was one spot and I heard about it and I was like, okay, I'll get back with you in 2 days. Let me figure this out. And I just thought, I have got to go. I want to go so bad. So I went and it was just such an amazing trip. And then 2 years later, there was another trip that I was invited to Bhutan. And I was like, I have no idea if I have a job. I don't know if I could go, right? My friend's like, oh, I'll pay for half of it. And I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, just like that, right? And then I got my job. And so then I could pay her back. So that worked out. So I got to go 2 times and it was just fabulous. And then I got invited again and I'm going in November and I am going for the 3rd time to Bhutan. And I'm so excited about it all.
No, Bhutan is the country that has the, what is it?
Gross national happiness.
Tell me about that.
It's a very rural, beautiful, mountainous country right next to Nepal. They are very careful about not getting overrun by tourists, not getting overrun by development, gross national happiness instead of the gross national product, right? They're just not into the consumerism of it all. And so they're just measuring how happy people are, which
amazing.
That's right up my alley, right? I like happy.
Oh, I can see why you like it. That's kind of how you're measuring your life too.
There's a lot of magic in Bhutan. There's stories of flying tigers with llamas on top. There's a lot of possibilities that isn't quite physical. My newest thing that I'm doing is I've signed up to learn how to become a speaker because I really feel like when we connect to our creativity and then grow it, we have all kinds of great solutions for the problems in the world today. So I'm doing such an uncomfortable thing about getting on a stage and hoping to inspire people to connect to their creativity. And it's been a really good program for me to stretch my boundaries and my comfort zone.
It's really neat to hear about how you live and what you do. I think that a lot of people get caught in a trap of not being able to do that. And so it's fun to hear that someone's doing it and that it's possible.
It is possible, especially nowadays. I think with the internet, I didn't grow up with this possibility. I think we have a lot of options. I know my son is an artist too, and he sells his work through Instagram on his phone. Like he doesn't even need a computer. He just organizes it all on his phone and he sells his work. I love how I can always be learning. The joy of learning all the different media. Like I started out as a painter and then oh, I learned how to do pottery. And I was like, oh, so then I can use some of those techniques in the pottery. And then, oh, printmaking, how do you do that? Right. So I learned how to become a printmaker. And then so much of printmaking is the paper you print it on. I learned how to make paper and I made so much paper. And then I learned how to make books. And so like one thing leads to another. And then my friends are like, oh, you should learn how to quilt. And I'm like, I don't have time to quilt. I'm doing this, 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 and this. And that first night I was like, oh, I think for me, it's sort of like the wonder of life gets exposed through this artistic journey that I've been on. And who knows where it's going to go. And that's part of the fun. My latest thing is my little Inner Wonder card deck that I made. So I did all these little watercolors and each one has its own little saying on the back. Tell me when, and then I'll pill a card for today.
Okay. Okay. When?
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, intuition. What is one thing you want to understand today? Focus on it now from your deeper knowing.
Oh.
Okay, so they're all really little short things that you can be inspired for the day or for the week. There's 52, so one per week for the whole year, or you can just do a daily thing. I think my next thing is this online course creation of helping people to connect to their creativity, because I feel like I have a lot of experience and I can really help people to figure out their dream and then actually the step-by-steps to make it happen.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Lisa Louise. It has been great talking to you and hearing about your art and your creativity and your work. And thanks everybody else for listening to Midlife Dialogues. Watch for part 2 with Lisa Louise coming up, where we will talk more about embracing your life later in life, which Lisa Louise definitely has done, and how she thinks about that. See you next time.